Winter in Massachusetts brings more than snow and bitter winds. It brings the return of silent hunters, the eastern coyotes, a hybrid predator smarter, quicker, and bolder than any wild canine the Northeast has ever known. They follow the warmth of sheep, cattle, and goats, moving low along the fence lines before vanishing into the dark, leaving behind losses that can erase an entire season's work. And as the boundary between wilderness and farmland begins to fade, the people here are confronted with a difficult question. Is hunting truly the only way to keep nature in balance? This is why we tell this story. You are watching Neo Farm, where humans and the wild meet face to face, not to conquer, but to protect the fragile harmony that holds this land together. Not all threats roar. They don't tear through forests or leave fields ruined overnight. Sometimes all they leave is a single track in the snow, a thin howl cutting through the wind like a blade, and then a calf is gone. No struggle, no warning. The eastern coyote is not the largest predator in Massachusetts, but it may be the most patient, silent, calculated, and perfectly adapted to this landscape where farmland meets forest. They know when livestock leave the barn, when a gate isn't latched, and which way the wind carries a scent. And once they find a weakness, they return without hesitation. According to the USDA, eastern coyotes are responsible for more than 300,000 livestock losses in the United States every year, accounting for over half of all calves lost to predators. For farmers, each animal is more than property. It is a season of labor, of investment, of hope. And when a calf disappears into the snow, the winter becomes much heavier. But no one wants to pull the trigger at the start. In Massachusetts, people begin with what they can control: fences raised higher, posts driven deeper, motion lights burning through the night, and warning alarms echoing at the edge of the woods. They raise guard dogs, keep barns clean, change feeding times. They're not looking to kill, they're trying to coexist within a safe boundary. Some communities even map sightings, share updates with neighbors, and rotate night watches like silent sentinels. But in the places where the tracks return again and again, sooner or later, there comes a night when someone stays awake, waiting for that familiar howl to rise once more, closer than before. Boundaries, no matter who draws them, only hold when they're respected. But some coyotes don't turn back. They return a third time, a fourth. The same eyes appearing in the infrared camera, the same shadow slipping past the fence line. And then one morning, a calf lies still, just 10 meters from the barn. When fences are no longer enough, when light no longer frightens them, and when animals begin to die without reason, the people here are left with no choice. They do not hunt to win, they hunt to protect. The law allows it, but no one steps into this with a light heart, because each shot fired is not simply the end of one animal. It is a message to the pack. There is someone standing watch over this land. In Massachusetts, where winter lingers and daylight fades to just a few brief hours, the hunt does not begin with the sound of a gun. It begins with patience. In daylight, the snow reveals every track, but it also exposes the hunter. Out here, on a field of white, the smallest movement can be seen. The coyote is patient, and so is the one who follows it. They wait for hours behind the pines, watching every step, every breath carried on the wind. Every aim isn't taken to fire, but to evaluate. Is the wind shifting? That shadow in the tree line, is it a coyote or a neighbor's dog? Is the line of fire safe? This is a discipline of precision and of respect. No one here hunts to kill. They hunt to preserve the last boundary that still stands. Daylight is when the hunter holds the advantage of sight. Even the faint winter light is enough to trace movement, mark direction, and plan a quiet approach. They choose high ground behind rock outcrops or fallen trunks, where they can watch a wide stretch of land without being seen. A light breeze carries sound from afar, a snapped twig, a soft step brushing the snow. It gives the hunter a moment to prepare, but daylight is a double-edged blade. The hunter may see, but can just as easily be seen. A human silhouette stretches long across the snow. The wrong color of clothing reflects light and draws attention. A single rushed movement can ruin an entire day's stalk. That is why those who hunt in Massachusetts learn to move like a shadow, slow, silent, and always blending into the land itself. And so every step is calculated like the final move in a long game. No one walks in a straight line. They follow the shadows of trees, slip behind dark stone outcrops, and crawl low across crusted snow. Even the placement of a foot is deliberate. The right spot, the right pressure, aligned with the wind. On these hunts, they never go without their tools. They carry high-precision rifles, snow glare-resistant scopes, wind meters, and thermal detectors. But none of those matters as much as instinct, the kind that only comes after many winters spent holding your breath behind the tree line. It's that instinct that tells them when to stop, when to wait, and when to walk away to stay safe.
Did this. Bang. Ow. And I saw him coming, I go, Hook!
Not every hunt ends with results. There are days spent following tracks only to realize they belong to a neighbor's dog. Days when the perfect vantage point is lost because the wind shifts. And there are moments when everything aligns exactly as planned, until the trigger freezes, refusing to move. But some days, everything slows. The wind is still, the tracks are fresh, and in the distance, a quiet shape moves toward the livestock. There are no cheers, no celebration, only a slow exhale of relief, because the boundary holds. One more day, one more winter without loss. There are successes, but none of them come easily. Coyotes are not foolish. They learn quickly, as sharp, adaptive, and relentless as the land that shaped them. When one falls, the entire pack disappears like smoke, changing routes, changing patterns, traveling miles out of their way to avoid the scent of humans. Sometimes there are no tracks for a week, and it feels as if they've left the valley altogether. But then, in the middle of the night, a howl rises, close enough to chill the air, a reminder that they never left. They are simply waiting for a moment of carelessness.
You just quinted. Oh, what the heck?
Michael for the year, because I tripled. Nice work on the gun. Nice work on the camera. Nice work on the other one. The guy.
But when the sun sets, the roles in this hunt shift. The hunter becomes the one being hunted. The light fades and the forest returns to its true form, a maze of darkness where every sound could be a warning or a trap. The temperature drops quickly, breath turning into pale mist that clings to collars and rifle barrels. Every movement must be slow, low, and absolutely silent. At night, the human advantage disappears. Technology can assist. Thermal optics, infrared scopes, motion sensors. But in the cold woods, nothing is perfect. Batteries drain fast, lenses fog with each breath, and every signal can mislead the eye. Technology can help you see, but it cannot help you understand. The coyote does not need to see you to know where you are. One shift in the wind is enough. And this is where the game shifts completely. A coyote's hearing can catch the sound of footsteps on snow from hundreds of meters away, and its sense of smell is dozens of times stronger than ours. While the hunter pauses to check the wind, the coyote already knows exactly where the observer is. Every passing breeze carries hundreds of tiny signals: sweat, gun oil, tan leather, traces that cannot be hidden. A howl breaks the silence, distant at first, then closer. It's not just a call to the pack, it's a way of measuring distance, testing reactions, a probe in the dark. The listener must stay calm because answering in any way, even a slight turn of the body, is enough to give away their position.
Nice.
Those who have hunted at night understand, no plan survives until morning. The night is long, the cold wears on, and fatigue blurs the mind. A slight shift in the wind, a clump of snow falling from a branch, either can break concentration. And that is the moment when the coyote moves to strike. They do not attack out of revenge. They simply do what nature has taught them: survive. When one is taken, the others do not flee in panic. They pull back, circle wide, search for the weakness, and wait for the moment when the hunter's guard slips. A dark shape glides at the edge of vision, then disappears as if it was never there at all.
Is this a big cock, Daddy? What do you think, sir? What do you think he weighs, probably? And we ended up sticking until 2. 1, 2, 3, stacked, piled. That was my little seat. I'm just looking at this.
The hunt ends, or maybe it only pauses. Out here, endings are never certain. The coyotes will come again, drifting through the brush like ghosts in the mist. The hogs will return too when the wind changes and the scent of corn carries through the trees. And the people, those who rise before dawn and sleep only when the fields grow quiet, will be waiting, patient and ready. They wipe down their rifles, coil their ropes, and listen to the silence that always follows the shot. Between them and the wild lies a line so thin it's almost invisible. A living border where instinct meets reason, where hunter and prey share the same hunger for survival, the same stubborn pulse of life. When the first light crawls over the horizon, the world begins to reveal itself again. Fences silvered with dew, barns outlined in gold, the soft smoke of a farmhouse chimney curling into the pale blue sky. The air smells of cedar, feed, and earth. A rooster breaks the quiet. A dog stirs beside the porch. Out here, every small sound feels sacred, proof that the night has passed and the land endures. This is Neo Farm, a place built not just on soil, but on patience, vigilance, and respect. Here, people learn the rhythm of the land the same way others learn prayer, through repetition, through loss, through the quiet courage of getting up every day to do it all again. They mend fences torn by tusks, lead cattle away from flooded creeks, and guard their herds against the black tide that waits just beyond the tree line. There's no anger in it, only understanding that living close to nature means living with its teeth as well as its beauty. Each sunrise here is a bargain struck with the wild. We protect, we endure, we belong. Because peace in this place isn't something you win, it's something you earn. Every calm morning, every steady harvest, every footprint in the dust is paid for with discipline, awareness, and respect for forces far older than ourselves. Welcome to Neo Farm, where the boundary between human and wild isn't drawn in fences or bullets, but in balance. Where people stand their ground not to conquer, but to coexist. And where, if you listen closely enough to the wind moving through the trees, you can still hear the land breathing, steady, watchful, alive.